Israel has one of the most powerful armies in the world. With state-of-art weapons, the tiny Jewish nation emerged as one of the most technologically advanced nations in the world. At the same time, it came into conflict with several Arab nations. But every time it emerged victorious. Although several Arab nations united against Israel and waged wars, Israel defeated them on several occasions. While this has cemented its position as a powerful nation, there is one army, or should I say, one militant group that gives Israel sleepless nights. Of course, you may ask, what about Iran? Iran is the sworn enemy of Israel. There is nothing to say about it, but Iran doesn't share a border with Israel. The group I am talking about shares a border with Israel. Do you know what that is? It's Hezbollah.
It's a political party from Lebanon which shares a border with Israel. Apart from being a political party, Hezbollah also operates as a Shia militant wing with the backing of Iran. Because of this reason, Hezbollah is designated as a terrorist group by several nations. Which countries? Most of the powerful Western nations and its allies have declared Hezbollah as a terrorist group. Not only Western nations, but organizations like Gulf Cooperation Council and Arab League have also declared Hezbollah as a terrorist group. EU and France, on the other hand, have sanctioned only Hezbollah's political wing.
By this, you must have understood Hezbollah doesn't have the world's support. But still, it had humiliated Israel 2 times in the past by defeating it. I know what you must be thinking. How can a terror organization defeat Israel twice, which had earlier defeated the United Arab world in a war? Well, there are so many reasons to explain.
Let's start with Hezbollah's formation. Israel occupied southern Lebanon in 1982. This was resisted by Hezbollah. After fighting for over 15 years, Hezbollah succeeded in driving Israel out of Lebanon's territory. This was the first failure of Israel at the hands of the militant group. Later in 2006, Hezbollah attacked the 2 Israeli patrolling vehicles by crossing the border. It confused soldiers during the attack and abducted the injured. This resulted in a full-blown war between Israel and Lebanon. Israel retaliated by invading Lebanon. It used Lebanon's naval route through its air force and navy. It conducted several airstrikes and launched a ground invasion, but it ended as a disaster for Israel.
Do you know why? Because of Hezbollah's training and strategy. Unlike Palestinians and Hamas, Hezbollah were highly trained and equipped with equipment and communications. They used guerrilla warfare to attack the Israeli army. This inflicted heavy losses on Israel. Despite using special forces to capture Lebanon's cities, Israel failed because of Hezbollah's strategy. Of course, it received help from Iran, but still, the training and strategy of Hezbollah was not something Israel expected. What was the end result? Israel's another defeat in hands of Hezbollah. Of course, Israel learnt a lot from these 2 defeats and developed new strategies to counter Lebanon. But recent incidents prove that it will need more than that to counter Hezbollah. The militant group is having significant presence in Syria. There are reports that Iran is smuggling advanced weapons for Hezbollah through the Syrian airbase and land route. This is the reason why Israel is bombing Syria, believing Iran is using Syria to strengthen Hezbollah.
Iran is waging a proxy war against Israel since its formation, be it Hezbollah, Hamas or Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Iran is using all the means to decimate Israel. Hezbollah and Hamas's missile arsenal are growing day by day, which poses a serious threat to Israel. Then there is Iran's nuclear program. Israel has been trying to stall the program in many ways for years. It even stole the Iran nuclear program documents by infiltrating the base. Several scientists working on these programs died mysteriously. Iran raised suspicion about involvement of Mossad, which is the foreign intelligence agency of Israel that could be behind these killings. Despite Israel's efforts, Iran is steadily inching close to developing a nuclear missile. Once it is ready, Israel will have a nightmare in containing Iran and its proxies.
Coming to Israel's relations with other Arab nations, we are seeing blooming friendships between Israel and several Arab nations like UAE, Bahrain, and Egypt. Few more Arab countries are strengthening diplomatic relations with Israel. But the recent decision by Netanyahu government might bring cracks in this emerging relationship. Why? Because of West Bank. The newly formed Israeli government has decided to strengthen the settlements in West Bank. It is planning to legalize settlements of Jewish citizens living there and develop the tourism sector in the region. There are also plans to annex the whole region of the West Bank.
This has already brought strong comments from King of Jordan. While Israel is planning to develop bilateral ties with Saudi Arabia, this move might put a halt to it. To cool the situation, USA's National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan is planning to visit Israel and meet Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss West Bank legalization plans. Although United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Washington was looking forward to working with the new government, he warned the latter against annexation and settlement expansion in the West Bank. Although Netanyahu wants to establish relationships between Saudi Arabia, he has to fulfill the promise he made to his alliance partners to stay in the power. If Israel moves forward with West Bank legalization, it might complicate relationships with the Arab nations.
What if Iran takes advantage of this situation and attacks Israel, or at least use its proxy to attack Israel? Can Israel survive that? What will be the role of US? The superpower nation may not be in a position to provide help to Israel. The Russia-Ukraine war has drained US reserve supplies. It is already supplying equipment to Ukraine and is strengthening Taiwan. But can it add Israel to this list too? You may ask why Israel would need any help when it has its own arsenal. Well, you're right, but how many of you know that Israel needs America's funding to manufacture them? Take Iron Dome for example. Israel used this expensive short-range air defense system when Hamas targeted Israeli cities. To fill the gap, Israel turned to US. The latter gave approval after passing the bill in the parliament. So you can imagine what happens if a full-blown war breaks out. With the looming threat of Iran and its proxies, the upcoming period for Israel is not going to be smooth.
Please subscribe to Nationalist Hub English channel for more interesting videos, and don't forget to like and share this video. Nationalist Hub, it's a news revolution.